Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our farm here, our Case IH farm here on Calmlands. Uh, I was hoping that this episode would be me starting in on the corn across the street, but I realized that when I looked at the calendar, now would be a good time to plant our wheat. So then next month, October, we'll harvest these three crops. So one more episode of lime and uh, planting work. We actually haven't done any planting for a while, so hopefully people will be excited to see the new seeder that we got last episode. If you didn't watch that one, you could go back and watch it. I show you when I drove up and purchased it. But I think what I'm going to do here is finish up this lime work myself, and then I'll put a worker on the lime for that field over there, and I'll plant this field here. So the majority of this episode is going to be doing these two jobs. Um, I used this tractor for the thumbnail from the last episode, so we'll have to see what, maybe we'll use the new seeder in the thumbnail for this one. But I appreciate everybody sticking with this series. There have been a lot of very generous comments and a good bit of support on it. I'm really having a lot of fun with this farm. I think it does a good job of capturing this sort of 1980s, late 80s, early 90s time period. Uh, I'm calling it vintage. I know some of you out there are laughing at that. Like, this isn't that vintage. But I'll tell you, when I use like the old H or the M, it does feel pretty vintage. Some of the equipment is a little newer than others, but I think I had 400 when I started this, so we won't make it down and back. So I'm gonna go fill up on the other side of the shed here. I have a little bit of clearance. I may actually put in a little dirt road over here, as much as I seem to be using this. But trying to stay true to how you might do some of these jobs in reality. I hope this is enough to get this section done. There are definitely lime spreaders that would be more efficient than this, that have like probably 4 times the spreading. But I thought I would use this one. I think it's a little bit more accurate to this style and size of farm. And then maybe in, by next season, next time we have to lime, it won't necessarily be next year, but the next time we have to lime, maybe I'll go get one of those other like 3-point spreaders you put on the back. They're kind of like a huge V shape. I could get one of those. I'm pretty sure there's a lizard one that I used in a different save that you can color customize or whatever, so I don't know. I think there are some smaller brands that make those kind of spreaders. I mean, technically this one is a lizard spreader, but I didn't want to use like the modern Bradall, if at all possible. I think we're gonna have to fill up one more time. This is just so small. You think you're making progress, and you're like, oh no, still have more to do. This has got to be like 3 meters at the widest. Here we go. Get a little in cockpit, in canopy action here. All right, can I make the turn with this view. Probably no worse than the regular view. Yeah. Could be a little better, but could be a lot worse. It looks like I started turning left too soon there. That outside wheel is not very far outside of my right rear tire here. So I kind of have to stay closer to the edge than I thought. If you looked at the field status when we were on that screen, I actually should also roll this field, which I haven't done. Oh, that's way too much overcompensating. That was terrible, very squirrely. But anyways, what I was saying is I haven't rolled the field yet. That's another thing that we could do. I'm not going to do this particular time of planting because I don't want to spend even more time on it. But that's something that I don't know how common that is in the American Midwest where I'm trying to simulate. If you guys, I know there's some farmers that watch this series. If you guys tell me how often you roll, what kind of roller do you use, and I feel stupid even asking this, but why do you roll? I know people use rollers on a grass field to get a sod farm or whatever to get lumps out of it. But why do you roll a crop field? Is it to get because I feel like that's different than getting the stones out or roots and things like that. But doesn't a roller compact it? I would think you would want to do the opposite. Isn't that why you cultivate, is to kick up the dirt and kind of aerate it and let the water go into there? So I don't know. Clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. So if anybody wants to enlighten me about why you would roll a field, like a crop field like this, I would certainly love to know. This is such a mess. Gosh. I don't really want to spend 15 minutes trying to clean up this end of the field. But some of this could be better. It's amazing the amount of time you can spend tinkering with this game. I don't know how many of you guys play other stuff, but it always makes me laugh when I'm playing a shooter game or something, and it'll be you play a round, 20 minutes, the round is over, and what do you have to show for it? You have your KDR, you have however many kills you got, whatever, whether or not your team won. But I always think, but what have I built? What do I have to show for this? Whereas when I play Farming Simulator, it's I played for 20 minutes, I played for half an hour, I played for an hour, whatever. I feel like I've progressed, whether I've progressed a month or whether I got that field lime spread or whatever. It gives a real sense of satisfaction of getting these little jobs done, which is kind of silly, really. But all right, so we'll get this field done and then get the worker going in the other field. The bummer about using a worker for this job is that it needs to be refilled so often. We'll have to hop off of our other tractor and do that fairly consistently. The grass field's coming along here. I'm hoping we can get one more cut. I may not do the whole field, but I want to do at least a little bit more before winter And I know I keep saying this, but I really need to put those hay bales up. I mean, I baled those months ago. They're in the barn, so it's not that terrible, but it should definitely be moved. I saw somebody, I forget who I was watching, maybe Daggerwin? Yeah, I think it was Daggerwin's time-lapse series. He had a whole wagon load, like trailer load of small bales like that, and he properly hand stacked them. I thought, good heavens, I don't have the patience for that. I just I just throw mine in the corner. But what if I could mod, one thing I think would be really cool is a hay mow mod. So that it would be just a script, so you could place an area kind of like you do with like the shop trigger. Place it down in a barn or even just out in the yard, wherever you want to put them. You could just place this marker for a hay mow, and then anytime somebody throws or drives a bale into the trigger, it would stack them. Because they have those for big round bales. Like they have bale storage mods for big round bales. But I haven't really seen that for the conventional bales. That would be really cool. Alright, here we go. So he's at 1100 here. I don't know how this is going to do. I might start him down the middle instead of trying to follow this edge. Because admittedly, I know this is crooked over here. I didn't have a surveyor with me when I was starting the field. Boy, we're going to be at probably 60% by the time we get down here already. That's alright. It's all good. We're going to put the worker on and they can figure it out. If they want to, they'll probably go straight and just leave a little sliver where I went crooked, which is fine. I appreciate folks watching the both of these series that I have running right now. And I'll be honest, I really want to start more farms, like always. That's my chronic issue. That's seed right there, right? Yeah. Did I ever do a placeable solid fertilizer? I don't think I did. And that's herbicide over there, I believe. Okay. Where do we want to put I don't solid fertilizer over here by the water tank. I wish I had oriented that differently so that if I spun it the other way, then I could put 2 tanks right here. Probably. I might still do that, honestly. Might still do that. Coming up. Could park the tedder in because we're not going to use the tedder. We could use the. You know what I was trying to say. Whatever. I don't feel like trying to line that up right this second. I think right here. Oh, you've completed your task, eh? I don't think you have. Did pretty good though. Made it all the way down here. All right. Sorry. I know that tabbing can be a bit frustrating, but I'm gonna put a tank. We want solid fertilizer. Yeah, right here. Solid fertilizer tank. If I spin this over here, I should still be able to get in there to buy the seed. Yeah, let's do that. So I can get over here to buy the seed, and then like we just did, we could back up to it on this side. So we'll come over here and buy probably, let's go with 2,000 liters for right now. We can always obviously buy more. I love these little tanks. It's such a cool idea. It's such a great idea. Not every little thing needs to be. There we go. Perfectly super realistic, you know. You can have something like a delivery simulated. Love that. All right. So I think this tractor is going to be the perfect horsepower and everything for this job. So we want, yeah, I guess wheat. I think we're going to do both fields in wheat. Let's come back to wheat. Yep. And V to lower it, and B to get started. Oh, so the lines aren't perfectly fancy because we didn't roll the field. But still looks pretty cool. Looking nice. Tractor seems to be pulling it no problem. I'm going to do a headland. We're going to have to take that guy in to get more lime here very soon. I'm surprised it's still going, to be honest. Love this little farm. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Oh, there you go. Tank is empty. Did I call it or did I call it? Try to get both of these planted up, and then next episode we can get going with the corn. It's corn. Now, since we didn't plow this section, we're going to have weeds. I don't know if they'll go away. They'll go away when I plant, but they'll come back later, I think. That's how that works. Well, that's liquid fertilizer. Okay, that was a little bit of a waste then, but oh well. I thought it was herbicide for some reason. Okay, so he was coming down. I think I'll just go ahead and put it over there where he was. Alrighty, worker. Go get him. And back to it. Seems to be using the seed and fertilizer at a decent but not excessive rate. Oh, no, don't overcompensate. Close enough. I'd be curious. I know the retention by now, I don't know how many people are still watching the video, but I'd be curious how many people are frustrated by me not using something like Courseplay to have like perfectly straight lines. You know, I know that's something that bothers some players more than others. You know, that I have these little grass patches. And, you know, I play the game like somebody who's playing a game. I don't play the game like somebody who's doing this as a job or whatever. I don't know. I like that it's a simulation of farming and that my real livelihood is not dependent on the productions that we have here. Which actually reminds me, I want to look at the cows. Because they weren't... Oh, okay, productivity's back up now. Thank heavens. Alright, so... Oh, another thing to add to next month's jobs. We're going to get 20 new cows. And we'll have to get rid of these Angus beef. They never reproduced. They just ate the feed that I gave them, and I guess they did produce slurry. That's something, which will be another form of fertilizer that we can use. We're gonna be stocked up. We've got solid fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, and slurry. I don't have a slurry tank yet, but that'd be something to get. I think we'll do a button hook turn down here at the end. Alright, I guess we don't have to turn it off because it won't plant over here, right? Oh, sweet camera work. Alright, let's try a little in-cab action. I'm thinking that's probably 1.5 feet over I should be. Alright, here we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's really hard to see. I feel like my head is too low. It's like your head is at your belly button level. Which is fine when you're looking up like that, but when you're driving and you're farming, you're trying to look down to that front wheel to keep it relative to where you've been. Also, as much as I like that this will allow me to get the job done fast, it actually feels a little too fast for planting. I don't know, some of you guys that are real farmers can weigh in, but I feel like 11 miles an hour is actually too fast to plant. I would think it's probably more like 6 to 8 so that the machine has time to drop the seeds in. It doesn't feel fast in this view, but it sure does when you're in the cab, in the first person view. We dipped under 200,000 in our savings. This is a very expensive operation. We haven't had... Well, I mean, I don't know what it would actually cost in real life these days to get a farm going from scratch. I mean, just from an open field to a fully operating farm, even running older school equipment. You have all the startup costs, building buildings, buying cattle. I think it would cost a lot of money. In game, we're at least 800,000 in debt. I mean, not in debt, but in invested, because we have sold, I think, 3 loads of milk. So that's 30 or 40,000. We lost a little bit of money. I want to say early on something happened with that one of my tractors, and I had to rebuy it because there was a problem with the mod. So we might have lost 8 or 10,000 there. But purchasing land, building 2 houses, 3 pole barns, the actual barn, and then several animal enclosures. I mean, it's a costly endeavor for sure. Okay. Alright, if I bring this around, can I get... yeah, this should be better this time. Should be better. Checking on my lime guy over there. Looks like it's going pretty well. It's easier to turn around in that field than this one. Oops. And now I'm missing my field's gonna have holes in it because if there's ever a job to not miss, it's planting. This would be such a bad job in real life if I did this, because I've gone so crooked several times. Alright. I like the width of this seeder. It doesn't feel too big for the farm, and I see that message about needing to fill the other. Let's go ahead over there. Well, at least it's down at this end. Will it finish? Probably not. Probably needs 2 more fills. Yeah, we definitely are going to need a bigger spreader if we do like the big cornfield across the way. Good heavens, this would take IRL like 10 hours to do the big cornfield. If I had to run back and forth over here getting 1,400 lime at a time. No, don't go crooked. Good heavens. There you go. What do you think? 5 more passes? 6, maybe? I think my issue when I turn around is that I turn too sharp. I need to make it more gradual and pay attention to that left wheel. Because as long as I get the left wheel in the right place, it doesn't matter what happens to the tractor. But sometimes I'm cutting the wheel too hard and it's making me overcompensate, and then I get that crooked little bit at the end where I miss some. I guess this way it'll be the right wheel. So pay attention to the right wheel. Oh, well, this is going to be a completely different story. I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. I said I'm going to go ahead and grab that real quick. And then I'm oh gosh. All right. Well, that's what I get for trying. Up at this end, I might actually just come down that side instead of trying to do a tight turn. I will. Do we want to go? We'll go there. It's just such a cool looking tractor. It's hard not to take screenshots with it. Alright, shut that off. And turn it back on. Three more passes. I'm gonna say hopefully, optimistically, 3 more passes. With the last one being wonky because it'll be fat at the end and skinny in the middle. Look at that. An actual smooth turnaround. Looking like a pro finally. Are we gonna run out of seed? Oh, that's something special right there. That is actually something special. I was pretty close. It's going to be real close to being 3 passes. We'll have this fat section down here, but the rest of it should be alright. Look at that, 30 liters of seed. I think we can make it down to the end. Nope. No. Wow, we're going to be... That's hashtag mildly infuriating. 2, 1, 0. Alright, well, I'm gonna leave you guys here and I'll finish this up. Probably do the other field either as a time lapse or just off screen. And I'll see you for some corn in the next episode. Bye for now.